big breaking news that we are getting for you. Nanda Devi is a super oil tanker and is finally back home, having successfully managed to meander through and navigate through the troubled waters of war. Yes, it is one of the ships which has managed to cross the Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz, remember, is under Iran's control, and it has made it very clear that any ships which belong to its friends are going to get a free passage, such as Nanda Devi. And yesterday it was another vessel called Shivalik which also got free passage. Today it is Nanda Devi having arrived India today. It was one of the ships which was granted free pass by the Iranian authorities, given the kind of deft diplomacy that we've seen on the part of India, where India is being counted as one of the friends of Iran, and Indian flagged ships are being permitted to cross the Strait of Hormuz when it is blocked for anyone who is a friend or an alliance partner of US and Israel. Well, those are the terms that Iran has set, and India, of course, is counted as one of the friends. In fact, just yesterday, their minister Arakchi had made it very clear that yes, indeed, for Indian ships, they're going to keep it open because the Strait of Hormuz has only been shut down for America, Israel and their alliance partners, their enemies, as Arakchi had called it, saying that it is open for its friends like India. Now, this on your screens, you have Nanda Devi. Here the LPG is going to be offloaded mid-sea. It is going to be a ship-to-ship transfer from the Nanda Devi, and this is going to be very significant to ensure India's energy reserves are shored up in the midst of a war. Now, this is an important one because this is the second of the LPG carriers which has managed to dock in India. In fact, it has already crossed the Strait of Hormuz amidst the West Asia war. After Shivalik, it is Nanda Devi. Later on in the night, we also expect another one, which is going to be the Jug, which is going to cross into the Indian waters. This is expected around 8 o'clock in the night. LPG is going to be offloaded. The Nanda Devi, this is going to happen mid-sea. Remember, the government has already said that there are two Indian flagged vessels which are carrying LPG, which is, of course, liquefied petroleum gas, which have already crossed. They are already arrived. You can see on your screens how Nanda Devi has now arrived. It is carrying LPG and it has managed to cross the Strait of Hormuz safely early on Saturday, and today we can see how it is arriving off the India's course, and now there is a ship-to-ship transfer of the LPG. In fact, there are some inputs coming in. Let's listen in.
BW बर्च अभी हम लोग शिप पे होके आ रहे हैं, मदर वेसल पे नंदा देवी पे होके आ रहे हैं, सारे क्रू से मिलके आ रहे हैं और ये डॉटर वेसल अभी अगले 1.5 घंटे में इसके साइड में लग जाएगा एंड देन वो कपलिंग के बाद फिर ऑपरेशन शुरू होगा। 2 बजे के आसपास ऑपरेशन शुरू हो जाएगा। क्रू खुश है, हम लोगों ने उनका स्वागत किया है, आभार प्रकट किया है कि ऐसे स्थिति में वो लोग यहाँ पे सेफली आ गए हैं और हम लोग ये जो वेसल लोड होगा फिर ये ईस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ द कंट्री में जाएगा। तो हल्दिया और एनोर 2 जगह डेस्टिनेशन हम लोगों को जो इन्फॉर्मेशन है IOCL ने उसको अभी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के लिए दिया है और बाकी हम लोग रेडीनेस में हैं। मंत्रालय ने, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पोर्ट शिपिंग एंड वाटरवेज ने जो हम लोगों को इंस्ट्रक्शन दिए हैं कि LPG का कोई भी वेसल आएगा तो उसको प्रायोरिटी पे हैंडल करना है और सारे सेफ्टी प्रोटोकॉल्स फॉलो होने हैं, कोई शॉर्टकट नहीं लगाना है, काम एज पर रूल्स होना है, बट इनएफिशिएंसी या डिले नहीं होना है। और जो मल्टीपल एजेंसीज हैं, कस्टम्स है, पोर्ट है, आपके सर्वेयर्स हैं, शिपिंग एजेंट्स हैं, सबको एक साथ मिला करके कोऑर्डिनेशन ऐसा होना है कि कोई टाइम न लगे और कोई इनएफिशिएंसी ना हो।
तो सर शिवालिक भी ट्रांसफर के लिए, LPG ट्रांसफर के लिए उसके बाद यहाँ पर आने वाला है सर?
शिवालिक अभी मुंद्रा में डिस्चार्ज कर रहा है, उसके बाद जो प्लान है उनका वो ये है कि वो यहाँ लेके आएंगे फॉर शिप टू शिप ट्रांसफर के लिए हम लोगों के एंकरेज में। तो वो भी उसके लिए भी हम लोग ये वाला ऑपरेशन हो रहा है, जब वो आएगा तो उसको भी हैंडल करेंगे।
सर आपने क्रू मेंबर से भी बात की, उनकी क्या सिचुएशन थी वहाँ पर जब उनको रोका गया था, तब उनकी क्या हालत थी और अब वो कैसे उन लोगों से?
बिल्कुल नॉर्मल है वो, ऐसी कोई मतलब एबनॉर्मल सिचुएशन, बिल्कुल नॉर्मल।
नॉर्मल दिनों में सर कितना LPG रेगुलर यहाँ पर आता है?
यहाँ पे हम लोग शिप टू शिप ट्रांसफर करते हैं, दिसंबर में भी किया, जनवरी में भी किया है और बाकी कांडला में करते हैं। कांडला में 2 बर्थ हैं हम लोगों के पास, ऑयल जेटी 1 एंड ऑयल जेटी 7। तो वहाँ पे टैंकेज फार्म्स भी हैं, टैंक्स भी हैं, स्टोरेज फार्म्स हैं, तो वहाँ हम लोग LPG हैंडल करते हैं। तो LPG के वेसल्स जनरली आते हैं, तो मतलब ऐसा कोई एबनॉर्मल ट्रेंड नहीं।
और सर और भी आने की कोई अभी शक्यता है?
हाँ, तो हम लोग रेडीनेस में हैं, मंत्रालय से रेगुलर टच में है, मिनट टू मिनट टच में है, तो पूरी तैयारी है। तो जैसा कि कहा गया है, तैयारी रखिए, जैसे जैसे इनपुट आएगा वैसे वैसे हम लोग अपने रिसोर्सेज को एलोकेट करते रहेंगे।
कोई सर अभी कोई हमारे पास कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन है अभी? और
इसके बाद अभी तो नहीं आया है, आज हो सकता है और अगर पता चलेगा तो
तो आपने सुना कि यहाँ पर जो कल शिवालिक जो मुंद्रा पोर्ट पर आया था वो मुंद्रा से भी बाद में यहाँ पर आने वाला है और यहाँ वाड़ीनार पोर्ट पे उसका शिप टू शिप ट्रांसफर होने वाला है। और दूसरे अभी जो यहाँ पर जो चेयरमैन है उन्होंने वहां से भी बात की और क्रू मेंबर से भी बात की। क्रू मेंबर का कहना है कि वो एकदम सेफ है और वहां से भी उन्हें कोई दिक्कत नहीं हुई है और अभी और यहाँ पर जो वेसल्स है वो आने की अभी शक्यताएं हैं और आगे की जैसे इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलती है हम आपको बताते हैं।
Well, thank you so much, Dhruv. Do stay on with us. Dhruv, this is very important what you're getting us. On the coast of Gujarat, you have the second India's oil tanker vessel, which has now landed. There is another third one, which is expected later on in the day, which is going to be called Jaglatki. That is going to be another one of the vessels, which is expected to dock around 8 p.m. What you can see right now on your screens is the Nanda Devi, the Indian flagged LPG carrier. It is carrying how much? Well, it's carrying 45,000 metric tons of gas and has arrived Gujarat after crossing the Strait of Hormuz, after it was given free passage by Iran because it counts India as its friend. Well, this vessel that you can see on your screens, Nanda Devi, has arrived at the port and it was initially, remember, scheduled to arrive, and it has arrived as per the schedule. It is right after Shivalik had landed just yesterday. It had docked just yesterday. In fact, the vessel too had delivered approximately 45,000 tons of LPG. In fact, the government says that there are about 22 Indian flagged vessels with a total of 611 Indian seafarers on board who are currently positioned west of the Strait of Hormuz. Let me go across to Robindra Sachdeva, who's joining us, a foreign affairs expert. Robindra Sachdeva, another big victory for India to ensure that we are securing our energy reserves. This on our screens is Nanda Devi. Why is this significant diplomatically for us?
No, certainly it is significant diplomatically. One, I think, when Minister Jaishankar and in discussions with the Iranian authorities, they kind of agreed, because definitely it's a fact, Iran kind of controls the strait right now, but they agreed for a waiver, you could say, for India, for tankers and cargo bound towards India. So that's definitely a significant achievement, and more so also because once Iran allowed India, then Iran, in a way, we opened the door for other countries also. So Iran has now modified its policy, and Iran says that it will block the straits only for the US, Israel, and enemies who are battling against Iran. So other countries are also benefiting from the foot in the door that India got. One.
Robindra Sachdeva, very interestingly, you have the Finnish president who's now come out and said perhaps India can help broker a deal. Why is the world pinning in hopes on India?
Well, on the one hand, India is definitely a heavyweight in world affairs. India always treads the middle path. India, the land of Gandhi and Tagore. Okay, and India has maintained a neutrality, let's put it that way. And in Prime Minister Modi that this is not the era of wars, this should be the era to live and let live. So these mantras, if you see, there is no other world leader who's talking this language. India is the only significant world player. Else, other leaders, everyone is talking about, might is right, and, I can take vengeance and revenge is mine. That's the language others are talking.
Well, absolutely. Thank you so much, Robindra Sachdeva, for joining us. Well, today, Prime Minister's call that this is not an era of war, something that he had said before this war began. But today it is the world which is echoing him, saying this is not the era of war, and perhaps one of the reasons why India has been seen as the peacenik, the possible country, the mediator who can broker a ceasefire between the three warring nations, US, Israel and Iran, the way that it has managed to stay neutral in this entire conflict. Well, in fact, let me also explain to you why it is so very significant that India's energy supplies have been resumed and why this refueling ruling is so very significant. Well, remember, just yesterday we had the vessel Shivalik having docked in India, in Gujarat. It was carrying a cargo of 46,000 metric tons of LPG, ensuring our own energy safety and reserves are being now kept safe. This was yesterday. Today, even as we speak, we have the second big vessel, the super tank, if you can call it. This is the Nanda Devi. Nanda Devi was carrying a cargo of 46,000 metric tons of LPG as well. Another one which is going to go a long way in ensuring that we have our resource shored up. But that's not all. There's also a third tanker which is on the way after having safely crossed the Strait of Hormuz, and this is Jaglatki. This is carrying 80,800 metric tons of Murban crude oil. This is crude oil essentially which is being carried by Jaglatki, and this is going to be huge as well to have the third ship dock peacefully in India. Remember, all of these have managed to cross the Strait of Hormuz because Iran counts India as one of its friends, not one of its enemies. And Indian flagged ships are getting a free passage. There are, even as we speak, about 21 odd ships as per the government data, Indian flagged ships which are on the west of the Strait of Hormuz hoping to get clearance. Let me go across to Colonel R.S. Singh, who's joining us, an author and a strategic expert. Mr. Singh, how would you like to react to the fact that Shivalik yesterday, today we have the Nanda Devi? What does it show about India to ensure that we have made our friends and we have kept neutral all along in this war and only called for peace? Is this what deft diplomacy looks like?
Reflects on your, the diplomatic and military stature that you have acquired over the years, where both the belligerents are, are equally close to you. I would say we never burnt bridges down, or we never burnt our bridges with Israel. We made the respective belligerents understand that where do we stand on the whole issue, and we stand for the peace and tranquility in the West Asia region and the Indian Ocean region. And we should also not forget that, it's also a reflection of maritime stature. I believe naval ships have also sailed across to provide security to our commercial vessels. So we are we are the most important player in the Indian Ocean, and we have established that, reiterated that, reinforced that, by various actions. If I may tell you, only when you are weak, people can tell you, either you are us or against us.
Right.
It is again a reflection of India's stature that you have taken an independent position, both with regards to Russia and Ukraine, and now in this West Asia conflict. And I give full marks to the perspicacity of the present dispensation in handling this crisis, which could have, could have gone out of hand, as it has gone out of, as it happened in your neighboring countries, including Pakistan. So full marks to the dispensation. We are really proud. We are really proud of our diplomats. We are proud of our, the military leadership, and we are proud of the overall political leadership.
So much, Colonel Singh, for joining us. Well, he says full marks to India for having maneuvered through the waters of war with deft diplomacy by ensuring that, as always, the land of Gandhi stood on the side of peace and peace alone, and never on the side of war. And today, the diplomacy is paying off. Thank you so much for joining us. Meanwhile, let's get you more visuals.